In this series of videos, we're taking a look at new games between Alphazero, DeepMind's general-purpose artificial intelligence system, and Stockfish, the TCEC Season 9 test computer competition winner and one of the strongest chess-playing engines in the world. In this game, we're going to take a look at a game in the Leningrad Dutch. A very, very dodgy opening. It's actually an opening that I played once I stopped as a professional. And I talked to another expert in that opening, and I told him I'd taken it up after giving up chess. He said, yes, you're ready for that. I think what he meant by that was you won't mind losing too many games then. So it's a very dodgy opening, but when it works, it's fantastic. You look like a genius. And, well, I'm rather jealous of Alphazero because it looks like a genius here. Let's have a look at the game here. So it's d4, f5, knight f3, knight f6. And the standard moves of the Leningrad Dutch. This was another opening that was specified by the TCEC openings book. And the last move stipulated was rook b1. The thing that impressed me the most here was that Alphazero played this in a very idiomatic, thematic way, and that's not obvious because this position is already strange and the moves are a little bit odd as well. They played a5 and knight a6, very typical moves here, and Black actually is spreading his forces all over the board. Here, Black is trying to prevent White from expanding on the queen side with b4, and on the other side, Alphazero will probably look to expand on the king side with h6 and g5. And now, Stockfish found it rather difficult, I think, to put a plan together in this position. And to be honest, that's not a real criticism, because it is difficult to play for White. These are difficult positions to get a grip of. Alphazero played some very nice moves. This rook b8 and bishop d7, again, very typical. We Blacks even got some ideas after moving the king of playing a move like b7 to b5. So, c5, king h7, maybe only the criticism there, normally that Black puts the king on h8 in such positions, but king h7 is not bad. After knight a4, knight c7, bishop d2, bishop e6, Alphazero starts to nestle its pieces on the central light squares that Stockfish's c5 weakened. Queen c2, knight cd5, b3. Now a very nice move. Again, we always say that when Alphazero feels that it's achieved a certain advantageous equilibrium, it takes a little time out in order to consolidate its position. And this is this move, rook a8, defending the pawn on a5. Bishop e1, and yeah, this is a very typical moment in the Leningrad Dutch, the moment where, as a player, you feel that everything is going right. And actually showed this opening to my co-authoring Game Changer, Natasha Regan, and she loved this opening because she loves throwing her pieces forward at the opponent, and Alphazero loves it too. Queen e8, e3, g5, in we go. Knight d2 and queen h5. Yeah, this queen is moving over to the queen side and it means business. However, the thing about defending against Stockfish is that Stockfish puts up a hell of a resistance. And it found a very unusual defensive maneuver here. This is bishop f3, g4, and bishop e2. So after, what's the point of this? I wondered. I didn't get it either. The idea is that after king h8, just getting the king out of that annoying pin by the queen on c2. Knight c4, knight e4. Stockfish played h4. And it's a very clever idea, very clever defensive idea. And once the pawn moves to h4, the queen can no longer get closer with queen h3. And that pawn h4 is also taking control of g5, so any Black hopes of playing g5 have been dashed. Or have they? Well, Alphazero is not one to take no for an answer, and it has played knight g5 anyway. It's a great move, it's a great move. So, after h takes g5, h takes d5, it takes the engines running on my hardware, takes them quite a long time to appreciate that this is absolutely horrific for White. it's not winning straight away. But actually, what is black going to do? Black is going to play its rook over to the h file. It will bring its other rook over to f8, and then it's going to invade with the queen, and it's going to play this move f4. And well, white can make a lot of moves, but white doesn't have anything that to put against that. But here, Stockfish found, typically these incredible defenses that it finds, really quite amazing. And well, I didn't have a clue what it was doing. I thought it was suicidal. Takes f4, and then this incredible move rook d2. And all of a sudden, you might think that black has a big problem, because this rook is coming over to the h file and pinning the queen on h5 to the king on h8. And this is the second beautiful part. Alphazero sacrificed a piece already. And now we're going to get the queen. Rook h2. This is what you'd expect from Stockfish, but actually Alphazero is intending this move. f2 check, king h1, queen takes h2, king takes h2, and rook f6. And I suppose this is kind of what happened in the night-off game here. This row of pawns on e3 and f2 is cutting the white position in half, and that's what's going to bring this rook to f8 and then give a check, and that white king is going to be completely stuck. And I've analyzed this with engines, and it's an absolute disaster. So Stockfish wouldn't be Stockfish if it didn't find another miraculous idea. And it was this idea, knight e3, knight e3, and rook h2. So by capturing that pawn on e3, this move f3, f2 is stopped completely. And all of a sudden it looks like white's found the key to win this game, because after knight c2, rook takes h5 check, king g8, rook c2. Well, white's simply a piece up. End of story, you might think. But there's this incredible move, really incredible move, which is bishop h3. What is the idea? Well, first of all, just imagine that if white moves the queen, then black can simply take on f1. No more pin on the king and queen, and black's simply a piece up. If white plays the obvious rook takes h3, which is played in the game, then queen takes h3. What's actually happened here is that, tactically speaking, the queen is taking the rook on h3 rather than h2, which means that when black recaptured the queen, white's own queen is still hanging. And after rook c2, we reach this position. Now this is maybe the slightly distressing thing about playing such a strong opponent as Stockfish, is that Stockfish never falls into a mate. It never allows a glorious sacrificial finish. It always finds the absolute best way to resist. And here it's managed to struggle on to an ending in which black has actually two pieces for the rook, but black has a lot of pawns. That looks like 3 to me. And I was discussing this position with my co-author of Game Changer, Natasha Regan, and she said to me, I think it's a very good point, but why on earth is this position good for black? Why are you so keen on it? Doesn't white have 2 pieces for a rook, which is normally a very good thing? And it is true, but the key thing about that you need for minor pieces is outposts, and especially the key thing that you need for a knight is a central outpost. And if you look at this position, there is absolutely nowhere for that knight to go. And without that, especially with this massive central pawns on d6 and e7, these minor pieces are not going to be able to survive for long. And what you notice is that Stockfish really gives it a go and tries to put the bishop onto e6, hold back those pawns. But I like Alphazero's technique here very much. It's really the classical technique. What they always say is that the important thing is that you can actually give up a pawn, for example, one of your extra pawns, in order to reduce the opponent's forces for resistance. And this is absolutely great. Rook e2. So get rid of that active white rook. And then we're going to gradually work at pushing back those white minor pieces, and those poor white minor pieces, they can't hold off against the rook. So, we'll just show you a few more moves because it's actually quite fun to watch. King f7, King e3, Rook h1. I think this is the other thing that's the big problem about this position for white is completely open. And this black rook has got, well, it can go anywhere within the white position. And of course what it can do, a little bit of disruption. And then attacking the pawns over there. I mean, white can't hold everything. And after bishop d1, King e7, the king comes in, and you notice the knight struggling to hold anything at all. And after knight f7, g4, knight d6 check, king d4, white didn't last much further. a4, rook a2, king c5, and the first pawn fell, and black won a few moves later. What did I like about this game? Well, first of all, I'm very jealous because Alphazero got to win with the Leningrad. It didn't even go through the pain of losing a terrible, appalling game, as I've done many times. But I think what I really liked about the game was how it seemed to feel the right way to play this opening, which I can tell is extremely difficult to play. And of course, these glorious tactics, this 24 knight g5. Let's put that one on the board again. 24 knight g5. Just putting a knight on prise, giving a piece for a pawn away, and going for a long-term attack. And then this glorious bishop h3 tactic, which, I mean, really quite outstanding. I don't think I've ever seen a tactic like it, to be honest. I'm sure that's going to go into all the tactics books in the future. And then, I liked very much, and that's just a sort of professional player thing, but I like the ending very much. This idea of two pieces not being able to deal with a rook because they've got no strong outposts. It's a very nice positional theme, and it was exploited beautifully by Alphazero. So I hope you enjoyed that. Hope there's some Dutch fans out there who are inspired to play the Leningrad again, and hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe.